The story of James Couzens. In those early days of his life in Chatham, Ontario, Canada, where he was born in 1872, little could he have dreamt that someday he was to sit in the Senate of the United States, that he was to be the partner of the richest man in the world, that he was to be the champion of the downtrodden and oppressed, though a multimillionaire himself. These events in his colorful career were indeed distant that chill fall afternoon in 1887 when young Jim Couzens stood in the railroad yard of the old Erie and Huron line in Chatham Station.
Is it like this every day, Mr. Switchman?
Every day, lad.
Do they always keep you busy?
Sure they do. Quit bothering me, will you?
Hey, McCullough hasn't moved those freights from the 417 due in about 10 minutes. Switch the 417 over on track 3.
Can't do it, Casey. 3's clear for the fast mail out of Ontario. 417's got to take 2 like she's scheduled.
But you got McCullough down there with some extras. There ain't time to get down there and get him to clear the track.
Run back to the signal house and tell him to hold the 417 at Harvest Junction.
Oh, she's past there by now. Switch her over. Switch her over to 3.
With the Ontario coming through? Run down to McCullough and tell him to clear the track.
What? With Mayfoot?
Well, I can't leave here. Hey, lad.
Yeah?
Will you run down to the water tower and yell for McCullough to get them empties off in the track, too? Hurry now, run.
Yes, sir. Hey, mister, the switchman says for you to clear the empties off the track so the 417 can come through.
What's that?
The 417? Yeah, holy mackerel. Why, it's 412 now. Here, quick, my lad, up here. Yes, sir. Hey, come on. Here she comes. Hurry. Come on, my lad. Up, quick. We made it, Mr. McCullough. We made it. And Mr. McCullough just made it, Father.
You like engines and trains, don't you, son?
Yes. Well, there's nothing like them in the world, Father, and, well, I'll be an engineer someday. Now, Father.
Yes, son, what is it?
I've been wanting to tell you this before, but, well, next Monday I start working on the Erie and Huron.
What?
Well, there's nothing wrong, Father. It's a good job and good pay, and there's a future in it. Besides, Sunday magazines, newspapers, candy, cigars, drinks, magazines, latest Ontario papers.
Come here, son.
Yes, sir.
I'll have a paper. Thanks. Hey, you have a pretty lusty voice there. What's your name?
James Couzens.
Still this run along?
Oh, yes, sir. And someday I'll be engineer on this line. What's your name, sir?
Well, I'm sort of an engineer myself. Mine's Thomas Edison. Young Jim Couzens remained a butcher boy on the Erie and Huron Railroad for 2 years. Then, in 1890, he moved across the border into Detroit and began working for the Michigan Central Railroad as a car checker at the munificent salary of $40 a month. Though one of an army of clerks, he soon distinguished himself through hard work, and after a few years was manager of all the checkers in the yard. One day...
Cousin, I've heard good reports about you. You're a steady worker. You've been with the Michigan Central several years now. You've got ambition. Now, my name is Malkinson of the Malkinson Freight Yard. I need an energetic young fellow like you. I'll give you $50 a month.
I'll take 60.
You'll take 50 until you're worth more.
I'm worth 70 right now, but I'll take 60.
You're hired.
It's kind of you, Jim, to ask me to marry you. But we can't do an awful lot on what you're earning.
Well, I'll get more, Margaret. I'll ask the boss for a raise. But don't worry, I'll get more.
Not from Malcolmson.
Yes, cousin? What is it you want?
I'll come right to the point. I want $75 a month.
Isn't that a little more than you're worth? You know you're not irreplaceable.
But I'm getting married, sir.
Well, cousin, what is the discount?
Well, you see, the wife... Well, it's this way. I figure I'm worth $1,800 a year to this firm, and I want a contract for that much every year.
Isn't that a little steep?
Well, the Michigan Central will take me back.
I'll be waiting for you the next thing we know. All right, you see me in the morning.
iron one day in 1903.
Well, cousin, we've seen the plans. Now, you got the idea of what it means. What do you think?
If I had the money, I'd back it.
Yeah, this plan sounds all right on paper, but I'll never be convinced that these gasoline buggies will ever amount to much.
There'll be a day when the whole country will be on wheels.
You've always been a dreamer of sorts, cousin.
Yes, but this is one dream I'm sold on.
And what did you say this young fellow's name is? The one who wants me to back him?
He's a friend of mine. His name is Henry Ford.
Malcolmson, shrewd Scott investor, loaned Ford $25,000 and installed young Couzens in the Ford shop. And as the years rolled on, James grew prosperous with the business. He retired in 1915 with a fortune of over $30 million and decided to devote his energies to the public weal. He became police commissioner and mayor of Detroit in turn. And finally, one day, Governor Grosbeck of Michigan appointed him senator at Washington to replace the unseated Newberry. James Couzens was entirely honest and fearless and earned the name Old Grizzly. He was a public servant and never abused his office.
So the boys back at the Mohawk Political Club were saying you was handing out jobs.
Yes? Well, who told you that?
Now listen, Senator. I aim to pay for what I get.
How can you pay me? There's nothing I want from you.
I'm a power in Detroit. I hold 10 districts in the palm of my hand. I got 50,000 votes in my pocket.
Get out, and be quick about it. And remember, when I'm up for re-election, if I'm nominated, keep those votes away from me. And when I get back to Detroit, your wards are the first I'm going to clean up.
Just because you got dough, you think you're too big for the working man, for the plain fellas.
They call me a radical in the Senate because I remember thousands of men work for 85 cents a day and because I fight for them.
So what?
You've heard them say I'm a millionaire, that I've lost the common touch. I still remember when I used to work in the railroad yards.
Yeah, it sounds all right to me, but how about the rest? How about them votes when the boys hear you ain't playing the game like you should?
The boys? You mean the party, don't you? I don't give a hang for your votes for the boys or for the party. When it's wrong, and I'll say so.
Senator, you're right there.
In your way, you're no different from the friends of the rich in the Senate who can't understand why I want to tax the rich. They tell me I'm one of the boys. I'm a millionaire myself. Well, you take this message back to the Mohawk Club and do everything for which it stands. Tell them that party and class lines don't exist in my world.
They won't like it.
And tell them I intend to clean up Detroit in more ways than one.
One day, several months later, Senator Couzens made an extensive trip through Michigan. Through small, dark factories, through the poorer sections of the cities, the bread lines.
There you are, lady. That's all the milk we have for today.
But I ain't got my free milk.
Sorry, lady. That's all we have. No more for today.
My baby ain't got his milk. My husband ain't got birth.
I'm very sorry. There's no more. No more milk for today.
You mean to tell me, nurse, there's nothing left for that long line of women?
We only get a few gallons a day. We give them what we have.
Well, how many women get milk?
Oh, 100 sometimes. Not many. They wait in line at daybreak. We do what we can.
It's the school! It's the party! Come
All right, boys, here we are. Let's go! Come on, man. Put those matters on the Come on, boys.
Sure is some fire. Now, that's what the city's going to expect with wooden frame buildings. It's a shame about these poor kids, though.
No excuse for anything like that. 20 children lost. With modern buildings and decent equipment, fire could never have broken out and taken the toll it did here. It's a pretty state of affairs when our children ain't safe even in the school.
That, Chief, is the price of negligence. Graft.
James Couzens decided to do something about the appalling conditions of child welfare. He made a scathing public statement, and several days later, the state party leader paid a call on the senator.
Jim, you're throwing away a brilliant career.
I've made up my mind, John. Nothing can stop me.
I'm telling you, Jim, those hyenas are gunning for you. You've let politics slip by so fast you don't even know what's happening to yourself.
That's just it, John. Something has happened to me, and I do know it. And I'm going to do something about it. The outcome of my candidacy for re-election is unimportant. But the fate of the children of the state of Michigan is.
You're throwing away a good career for something you can't do a thing about.
That's just where you're wrong, John. I'm going to set up a fund of $10 million for children's clinics and hospitals and schools.
Jim, talk sense. What's that going to get you?
Something far more valuable than a seat in the Senate. An assurance of happiness to the children of our state. Vigor and vitality to our future citizens. That's what it's going to get me. And you can take that back to your Mohawk Club.
What are you talking about? Mohawk Club? What's the Mohawk Club?
I forgot myself, John, for the moment. I thought you were someone else that I knew a long, long time ago.
So, Old Grizzly, fighter and patriot, sacrificed his political career for the children of Michigan. He gave millions for clinics, hospitals, and schools. The citizens of tomorrow are the living monument to this man. James Couzens, Captain of Industry.